going to complain this much about audio, sooner or later I'm just going to throw money at the problem and just deal with it. Hey guys, it's quite interesting today because we're going to take a look at a new microphone that I've got from DJI. It's DJI Mic, and I've been looking forward to test that microphone. But as you can see, the DJI Mic is in front of me, meaning that I'm still using my conical lava right now at my neck to record this. Somewhere through the unboxing video, we're gonna swap the microphones so you could see and hear the improvements that new microphone brings you. And I really hope that spending £289 will honestly get rid of all those comments about the audio qualities for good. I've been eyeing this ever since it got released because it promised a couple of cool features. Frankly speaking, I'm not that interested in the massive range, which is up to 250 meters. And never gonna be this far from camera, mostly because by the time we're gonna get there, the camera's gonna die out of battery or whatnot. But all the features are definitely super attractive, including a carry case that charges everything, unlike with my Comica set right now, which I need to charge everything individually, and more often than not, my microphones are just low on battery and I'm really scared to start recording. That, the mic quality, and the fact that each transceiver actually records a local version of the audio, well, that sounds really attractive. So here we are with the DJI Mic in my hands, and I think we're due to unboxing. But before I do that, a couple of weeks ago I went to Make Essentials to record some footage, and out of 4 microphones, pretty much everything but one just let me down, and I'm still editing this and I'm still facing a lot of audio issues. So hopefully next time this is gonna save my butt. Let's open the DJI Mic and see what's what. So I've opted out for £289 case, even though I could spend a little bit less and just get a transceiver and receiver. Mostly because I wanted to have a case which would charge everything at once. It's such a time saver, you have no idea. And honestly, at this point, I'm just hoping that this can... Hey, this is actually quite smaller than I was anticipating. Just look at that. Like, this contains 2 lav mics and a transceiver and a battery charging case. Oh, there are 4 indicator lights in here. Is there a button to trigger it, or do you have to just open it and close? Open and close will reveal the stages, so that's nice. And what else do we have in here? Probably some... Oh, there's a pouch. There's a carrying pouch. Inside the pouch, what do we have inside the pouch? So let's have a look before we get into the main deal. We have instructions, which we're not going to use right now. We have a dead cat. We have an audio cable. We have a small charging cable and another dead cat. I'm surprised actually they didn't include any lav mics, because at that price point I'd expect them to be inside. Look at that. So we have, as promised, we have 1 transceiver. It's very small compared to my Comica. Probably should have one in my hands. Let me fix that. I already thought that Comica ones were a decent package, but this is like twice as little. So it might not have a screen like the Comica ones, but I think it has enough I/O to actually work with everything. So you have a LED, a microphone, lav mic entry, USB Type-C, power button, clip with magnetic clip, record and pairing buttons, and the 4-pin charger connector at the bottom. So that is looking really neat. So we have 2 of those in a package, 1 and 2, and they all already paired to my receiver. And the receiver is also quite tiny. I was expecting it to be bigger, but most of it is just a battery inside it. So what else we have in here? We have a USB Type-C connector, which can apparently connect to a mobile phone, I guess. And we have an equivalent for the lightning jack for the iPhone, something I'll never use. So that's the package in there. So, alright. Now this dead cat kind of locks in place. The next thing is probably just test it out, swap it out, and talk to you with a new microphone setup and see what do you think. And I'm back a couple of days later, this time with DJI microphone attached. You can see it in here on my t-shirt. And since a couple of days has passed since I made original recording, I'm ready to share my thoughts about it. So let's start with things that I didn't like. Ergonomics of the case are really undeniable. It's nice, portable, very small, and you can just grab it and it's always ready to go. But it's not the case that you're going to be taking. It's going to be the pouch filled with other stuff. Despite costing $289, it doesn't come with lav mics. You'll have to supply those yourself, and you probably want to because you get overall a better performance for your transmitters. They'll be more consistent and less prone to different or inconsistent performance depending on whereabouts you're going to clip them to. Fortunately, these are not very expensive and you can grab a decent one for about 15 to 20 pounds or more if depending how much money you want to spend. I was lucky enough to use the Comica ones and they were working just fine. But even if you don't want to use dedicated lav mics and you want to take a case with you, you still have to take the pouch filled with other accessories, starting with this shockingly stiff and short 3.5mm jack cable. So this is the cable you would use to connect your receiver to the camera, and it only allows to really connect your receiver in one orientation. Right now I have my receiver pointing towards me so I can see the audio levels, which is super comfortable, but this cable, again, it's too short for that and doesn't allow it. So I managed to reuse the one supplied with a Comica set, which is nice, curled up, and it can stretch. So much better than whatever they supplied. And obviously that's not going to fit into the dedicated case. Now, as the case comes with two adapters, one for the USB Type-C and one for Lightning ports, you can connect those to either computer or Android. But where I'm really surprised is that they didn't make equivalent for 3.5mm jack, especially that the receiver itself, it's really tiny and realistically speaking could hang off the port itself because it carries no weight. So personally, I would take a bigger case with the ability to store all those items inside, so you can indeed just grab the case and go, and always be sure that everything is inside included. But frankly speaking, that's all the negative criticism I've got about how the set has been put together, and it feels great in the hand. The receivers are really small, light, compact and easy to carry, so yeah, I'm liking the set so far. As you already have the idea about the audio quality because you're listening to this microphone right now, let's talk about the receiver and transmitter and what's so cool about it. Starting with transmitters, they are really nice and about a half of the size of the Comica sets I've got, which makes them really easy to hide. I mean, obviously it sticks out on a white t-shirt because it's black, but I managed to dim the LED lights so you can turn them off completely. If you don't like lights, there is also vibration notification, so you can use that to know whether the microphone is operating or not and keep it into a stealth mode. Now, it is attached right now using a magnetic clip, but if I want to switch over, there is a normal clip that you can just clip into a belt or something like that and continue recording. The unit itself has two LEDs, one telling you the microphone is powered on, the second indicates whether recording is happening. And I mean recording onto the storage itself within that unit, because it comes with 8 GB of storage for internal recording. And you're thinking, why is that? Well, because in case something fails, you can choose to record the audio locally and then obviously use it as a backup just in case you've had a loss of transmission or you said something incorrectly. One of the cool functions about it is that in a special recording mode, safe mono mode, it will record the audio or version of the audio that you are recording with a lower gain, -6 decibels. So if you set the gain too high and your voice is clipping, you can still check the recording on the device itself, pull it back and use that as a backup or edit it in. And that might actually save your overall work. Other than that, it's just a simple unit with a couple of buttons and USB Type-C to access that storage as a USB drive. Obviously, there is a port for the lav mic, so you can plug in the lav and have more consistent performance. So let's have a go. And with a lav mic connected, you're gonna have a so much better consistency of sound, regardless of whereabout the transmitter is. One of the interesting use cases for these transmitters with the local recording mode is the fact that you can use them as a stand-alone recorders. You can just take it with you, you don't have to pair it to the receiver, and you can still just record the sound somewhere on the go. And that is a nice flexible option for you to use. I was genuinely surprised how small the receiver is, especially that it offers a range of 250 meters, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, I haven't tested the range because I don't really have ways of doing it because I'm doing it on my own, but I honestly never gonna use that in real life. What I'm going to use is the fact that I can walk around the entire house without fears for the audio to be broken or because of the transmission, so that's definitely one thing not to worry about. Apart from the power button, the unit comes with obviously a touch LED color display, a 3.5mm audio out and headphones out, so you could have a live preview of your audio. And that's pretty much it. There is a USB Type-C port for charging that you can also use to flash the firmware. So it's worth checking from time to time for the new firmware to make sure you are getting the best performance out of your device. I already mentioned the pogo pins, which can be used to mount different adapters, from the typical clip that you can mount into a shoe horn adapter on your camera to the USB Type-C and a lightning port for your iPhone. Both are working just great, but to be fair, they are quite difficult to remove. So be careful, because every time I'm swapping the adapter, I'm risking shooting it off somewhere in the distance because they take a bit of force to properly fit. I wish that mechanism was slightly better because it is just a little bit awkward. Touchscreen is where the magic happens, and with a couple of swipes you can access different functions, and those are plenty. You can actually start recording remotely on both of the transmitters, so that's really nice, and you can format the storage remotely too. You'll also find options to set the settings for transmitters and the receiver, so you can modify the gain for individual transmitters or for the receiver output as well, which is handy. Or you can enable low cut filter if you prefer your audio to be slightly clean up before you throw it in a computer and start editing. There is a couple of other options that you can use to set everything up, like language and time, etc. So just spend a moment going through all the options to make sure your set is configured properly. I think it's time we address the most important feature of the DJI set mic, which is audio quality. Now let's start with using those lav mics without the actual lavalier microphone attached. Well, the performance of the microphone will strongly depend on where you situated your transmitters, and the strength of the audio and the clarity of the audio will also depend on the distance between the microphone and your face as well. If you record a voice. Obviously it's for recording voices, so what else would you record, right? Right now it doesn't look too pretty, but this is probably the most ideal situation for capturing your audio this way without a lavalier mic. But going forward I'll be using one of those because they are slightly more consistent, and I won't be worrying whether I'm wearing correct clothes to position the microphone constantly in the same distance, further away from your voice, and you might find yourself that the audio is slightly too quiet. But positioned correctly, you can get a pretty good audio too. Now, my voice may not be as punchy as when using a dedicated podcast microphone for that really silky smooth voice, but it will do the job just fine. Even in a loud environment, I was able to get my voice through without picking up too much noise from the outside. Switching over to the lav mics and position them correctly, you can get a little bit more punch from that recording setup, so your voice is going to be a little bit more fuller with a better low frequency responses. It's probably what you're looking for, so it's another reason to actually head to the description of this video and treat yourself to an add-on, which are lav mics like these. So while I'm initially happy with the performance of the DJI mic, it will be the time that will confirm whether they're actually useful. It's going to be down to you guys, because let's face it, if my audio is great, then I don't receive any negative comments on my videos asking me to adjust my sound. So if I won't see any comments around the sound for the next couple of videos, then I think that's going to be a benchmark for, well, qualifying benchmark for using DJI microphones. I mentioned that you can use the USB adapters to connect your set to Android or iPhone. Now, that is certainly possible, but there are a couple of limitations. First of all, the entire set will act as an external USB headphones. This means the sound will be gone from your mobile phone until you disconnect the receiver. Second of all, the options for increasing gain, etc., especially on the receiver, won't work because everything is routed via USB and it's going to be down to your computer or Android phone to set those correctly. So bear that in mind and don't modify anything on your receiving unit. But the option to have it working with your phone or your computer is definitely much appreciated, and it will give you that extra flexibility in terms of how you want to utilize the mics. Battery-wise, you are to expect it about 5.5 hours for a single session before you have to put them back in a case and recharge. Now, the storage itself for the local recording can store up to 14 hours of audio, so you get a little bit extra. And if you really want to extend that 5.5 hours, both the microphones and the receiver can work using USB Type-C power for the constant power delivery without any time limits. DJI Mic is a costly upgrade, and I know I just threw the money at the problem. And, well, I hopefully solved the problem. Otherwise, I'll be super disappointed. But the extra features, like having everything charged and ready to go, will definitely benefit me moving forward. So this is already something I'm looking forward to use. And yes, I will agree with you, you probably don't see that much of a difference in terms of audio quality between my Comica set and this set. That probably won't justify the price bump, but I am paying for the convenience, and for the first time in my life I'm actually quite happy with this, to pay for the convenience of use, because yeah, been so many times before where I wanted to record something and I ended up sitting down for half an hour and charging my equipment first. I would much prefer if my YouTube channel was big enough so I could just ping an email to DJI and ask for the review unit for them and continue using that on my channel. But as it is for now, I bought it myself, it's here to stay. And yeah, you're definitely going to hear me through that mic in a couple of more videos. Now, I just need to get myself out there and actually take a full advantage of a set like that, which is, well, built for you to go out there and interview some people. So maybe that will happen at some point in the future. As for now, guys, let me know, what do you think about my new audio? Is it good? Are you excited about it? You know, YouTube comment section is waiting for you. And for me, I do not have a posting schedule, so if you want to know what's next, then hey, best way, use YouTube tools provided to be subscribed and all of that stuff. I'm not going to tell you how to use YouTube. You are adults, you know exactly what to do. But there is a couple of social media links that I would recommend you to follow. So follow me there, start the conversation, and let's keep in touch. As for now, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.